America is obsessing over one question today. Who are the winners? And sure, everyone's searching Oscar winners 2026. But what if I told you the most important winner list right now isn't Hollywood at all, it's money? Because while people argue about celebrities, two assets are quietly fighting for the same throne, Bitcoin and silver, and today's numbers show this battle just entered a new phase. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to connect the dots between Bitcoin's institutional momentum, silver's shockingly high price action, and the uncomfortable question nobody wants to answer: if the next money reset hits, what actually wins? Digital scarcity or metal you can hold? Hey, my name is Kim, and welcome back. Today we're doing a real-time style update, Bitcoin and silver, for a US audience. Clean, simple, and practical. And yes, I'm specifically building this to be viral. Strong hook, clear tension, and a conclusion that makes you rethink what safe even means. Disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor, and this video is for education and entertainment only. Nothing here is financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Markets are volatile. Do your own research and talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions. Kim, let's ground this in today's numbers. Bitcoin is around $73,830 with a roughly pleasant 2.79% move shown on the price page, and 24-hour volume shown around 23.96 B, with market cap about 1.476 T. CoinDesk. Now here's the part that makes people do a double take. Silver is shown around $80.15 per ounce bid and $80.40 ask, with the day's range roughly $76.96 to $81.75. Kitco. Whether you're a Bitcoin maximalist, a silver stacker, or someone who's never bought either, those are not boring numbers. Those are pay attention numbers. So the real question is, what story are these prices telling? Kim, Bitcoin and silver don't look related at first. Bitcoin is math, code, a network, pure digital scarcity. Silver is metal, old world money with new world industrial demand. But they collide on one single human fear. What happens if the system gets weird? And weird doesn't have to mean apocalypse. In America, weird can look like inflation that never fully cools, debt that never stops climbing, banking rules changing overnight, markets that rip up and down like a roller coaster. In uncertain systems, people search for assets that don't rely on someone else keeping a promise. That's the shared psychological root. Bitcoin people call it no counterparty risk. Metal people call it, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Different language, same instinct. Kim, here's the viral level question. If America is heading into a decade where trust is expensive, what becomes the default hard money for the next generation? Because gold has been the king forever, but the conversation online is increasingly Bitcoin as digital gold, silver as the people's metal, and the US dollar as, well, the thing everyone uses, but fewer people trust long term. Now I'm not here to trash the dollar. I'm here to explain why Bitcoin and silver are both rising in the same cultural moment and why that matters. Kim, Bitcoin's core sales pitch is brutally simple. There will only ever be 21 million. Not probably. Not unless politicians agree. It's baked in. And today, with Bitcoin around 73.8K, you're seeing the market continue to treat it like a macro asset, not just a tech toy. CoinDesk. But what makes Bitcoin nuclear isn't hype. It's the idea that if more institutions adopt it, if more retirement money touches it, if more states and funds treat it as strategic, then the available supply on exchanges can get tight fast, because a lot of Bitcoin is illiquid. People who buy it don't always sell it easily. And when a scarce asset meets persistent demand, price can move in a way that shocks people. That's why Bitcoin cycles feel violent. It's not just buying, it's competition for a limited float. Kim, now silver has a different superpower. Silver is not only a monetary metal, silver is also an industrial necessity. It's in electronics, it's in energy systems. It's part of the real physical economy. So silver has two demand engines: fear demand, safe haven, hard asset demand; utility demand, industry demand. And when silver is being quoted around $80 an ounce on a major precious metals price feed, with an intraday range stretching from about $76.96 to $81.75, it signals serious volatility and serious attention. Kitco. Here's what's crazy. Bitcoin is scarce by code. Silver is scarce by geology, mining economics, and industrial pull. Different mechanisms, same potential outcome: tight supply meets persistent demand. Kim, Bitcoin and silver are both, in their own way, a protest, not necessarily a political protest, a systems protest, because modern money is basically a story. You trust banks, you trust institutions, you trust policy, you trust that rules won't change when you least expect it, and most of the time, that trust works. But when people get nervous, they move toward assets that don't require a permission slip. Bitcoin, permissionless digital transfer. Silver, permissionless physical ownership. Kim, let me say something that annoys both sides. If you only own Bitcoin and you think metals are pointless, you might be underestimating physical reality. And if you only own silver and you think Bitcoin is a scam, you might be underestimating digital reality. America is becoming a hybrid world. Digital rails, physical constraints, institutional adoption, and retail panic, sometimes in the same week. So instead of arguing like a sports rivalry, let's map the battlefield. Kim, Bitcoin tends to win when liquidity floods markets, and risk assets get a tailwind, institutions keep adding exposure, people want portability, moving value fast, across borders, younger investors treat it as default, hard money, and because Bitcoin is global and always trading, it can reprice instantly. That's a feature and a psychological weapon. It means Bitcoin can front-run narratives. Before the evening news says people are worried, Bitcoin can already be moving. And today's price context, around 73,030, shows Bitcoin still has the market's attention as a major asset, not a niche curiosity. CoinDesk, Kim. Silver tends to win when inflation fear returns, the public wants something real. They can hold industrial demand, tightens supply. The gold to silver relationship gets attention again. Retail stampedes into affordable hard assets, and silver has a unique narrative advantage. It feels attainable. Gold can feel like a rich person asset. Bitcoin can feel like a tech person asset. Silver feels like, I can start with 1 ounce. And when the screen shows silver around $80, you can almost hear the mental math people do. How many ounces could I stack if this goes crazy? Kitco, Kim. Now here's the scenario that makes this video shareable. What if the next decade isn't about one asset replacing another? What if it's about a scarcity shock hitting multiple layers at the same time? Digital scarcity, Bitcoin's fixed supply and a growing pool of buyers. Physical scarcity, real-world supply constraints for metals and materials. Institutional scarcity, funds competing for the same safe allocations. Social scarcity, trust becomes rare. In that world, people don't calmly rebalance portfolios. They chase certainty, and both Bitcoin and silver sell certainty, just in different formats. Kim. If you want a clean way to watch this without getting emotionally hijacked, here are simple signals. For Bitcoin, does it hold key levels without collapsing on bad news? Does volume stay elevated during moves? CoinDesk shows 24H volume around $23.96 by today. For silver, does it keep printing wide daily ranges? Today shows roughly $76.96, $81.75 range. Kitco, does it hold gains after spikes, or does it mean revert hard? These aren't predictions, they're ways to stay rational. Kim, my competitor's framing is, Bitcoin goes nuclear. Here's my version, calmer but more powerful. Bitcoin doesn't need to go nuclear in one day. If Bitcoin simply keeps being treated like a strategic asset, month after month, then the pressure builds quietly, like steam in a sealed system. And silver doesn't need a conspiracy. Silver just needs sustained industrial demand, plus a rush of hard asset buyers at the same time. So if both of these forces run together, you don't get a single winner. You get a hard asset era, and that is the deeper story most people miss. Kim. So here's the real question for you. If you could only pick one hard asset for the next 5 years, Bitcoin or silver, what are you choosing, and why? Drop it in the comments. And if you want, I'll do a follow-up where I build 2 model portfolios, one Bitcoin heavy, one silver heavy, and explain the logic without hype. Kim, final reminder, this is not financial advice, just education. Manage risk, do your own research, and never invest money you can't afford to lose. I'm Kim. Nothing in this video is financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Bitcoin and silver prices can change fast, and you can lose money. Always do your own research and speak with a qualified professional before investing.